Hi, guys. It is Tuesday in June, and we're sitting here the week of Juneteenth trying to understand what's going on in our country. My show is called Let's Talk About It, and basically, we just have casual conversation about things that are happening in our community. My name is Kimberly Wasson, and I'm from Statesville, North Carolina, and we've been having some protests here and across our county, just really trying to get some understanding of why people here are protesting. Everything is stemming from the events that happened in Minneapolis a couple of weeks ago with George Floyd. So we've got some young people here today that are very passionate about the things that are happening in our community, as well as some civic leaders that have, just are working in the community, work in the community all the time, as do I. We have a lot going on in this country, and basically we're just trying to share the messages that people are trying to get across, because you hear things on the news media and people are like, well, what happened in Minneapolis, that's over. That doesn't affect you. That doesn't have anything to do with you. And I just want these young people to speak on that, because that is absolutely not true. People don't seem to understand why people are 2 weeks later still furious. And with even more recent events, you have shootings, you've got hangings, you've got multiple things happening in various communities. You've got people on social media just talking incredibly reckless and saying things that are making people turn the information over to their supervisors, and screenshotting people's Facebook pages with nooses and really reckless, horrific things that people are saying behind the scenes. And these are the people that are in charge of our children. A lot of time we've had many complaints with the school system. We've had many complaints in various departments of people that work very publicly and have a lot to do with policy and have a lot to do with interactions that we have in our communities. And so people are being shown very clearly that this is not serious to some people, that the reasons that people are protesting are not meaningful to some people, and it's very degrading to some people that look like me, that if you don't know and you don't understand, we want you to know and we want you to understand. So some would say, I don't have to sit down and explain to you why I'm protesting, or I don't have to sit down and explain to you why we feel like we need to carry a sign that says Black Lives Matter, or I don't have to sit down and explain to you why this is really affecting me, my children, my family, my home, my community, my world, because this is happening all over the world because people got it. And so if you don't understand, we're inviting you to stay and listen. Just get some understanding of what you can do to take this to the next level, to try to get some understanding. There are some people that will never understand. I mean, we've talked about this in the podcast last week with some of my friends and coworkers. We've talked about this. There are some people that will never understand, and it's okay, because I can't get mad at you that you don't understand. I can ask you to do better, but I can't make you understand how we feel, and you'll never understand how we feel or why we feel the way we feel. But we can ask you to listen and try to do better for the next time that you have an interaction with somebody that doesn't look like you, whether that be a black person, white person, Chinese person, a Latino person. It doesn't matter, because I feel like a lot of these things happen because people have tendencies that they may not even realize that they have. And so when you have those tendencies to prejudge people, that's what racism is. You're prejudging someone by the color of their skin, by where they live, by how they speak, because it's different from how you talk, live, or where you speak. And it's not right, because in the Bible it tells you should not judge anybody. So, and then a lot of these things that I found, the problem that I have with it is that a lot of it is coming from Christian people. So I do have a problem with the fact that you go to church every Sunday, but you don't seem to know how to treat your neighbor. We are all neighbors. Everybody in this country and people in other countries are our neighbors. God asks us to love each other. And, we say we do, but then our actions show differently. So we're just going to speak on that a little bit and just talk about what they want going forward, why they created these protests in the various towns, and other people were invited. So if they're not here, if there's somebody that you know has been doing some great work, guys, there's some great people out there doing a whole lot of really good things. And we did try to be inclusive and invite different people. So please just be mindful, and thank you for tuning in. So we're going to start by going around the table. I'm going to let these guys introduce themselves and tell me who you are and why.
My name is Rakeem Brawley. I'm a native of Mooresville, North Carolina. The biggest thing for me is just making sure that now is the time for us to step up and be about change. I mean, when we look at this is a century problem that we've been dealing with, and we don't stand now, then we'll stand for anything. And the most important thing that I want everybody out there to understand is that we're bigger than the stereotypes that's placed on us. When you look at over the years, over the centuries, I mean, the biggest thing that you see is we can't do this or we can't do that. Why can't we do this or why can't we do that? I think, you have to understand and dig deeper and do your research of why we can do things and how we are, able to have value and meaning and, be about purpose. And just giving us a fair share. I think that's what it's about. That's what, me and the team, Raynisha and some of the other members that are part of our team, that's what we stood for. And we wanted to make sure that we let everybody know that we do have value, we do have meaning, and we do have purpose. So that's the meaning for me being here today. Thank you for having me.
Raynisha?
My name is Raynisha Caldwell. I've lived in Mooresville my entire life, another native. The why for me, I guess, like Rakeem said, we just wanted to stand up and be a voice. You have a lot of different people out there from a lot of different age brackets, and to me, the focus was to make everyone aware. There was so much backlash after George Floyd, we were all just conversating and meeting up with one another, trying to figure out how we could make our voices be heard, what could we do, and honestly, just being in the moment and understanding how real it is for our black men to walk the street and, be stereotyped. And at this point, you have, one black man who was running in a very nice neighborhood, who was dressed in very nice sportswear. It doesn't matter what we wear at this time. It's just being black, being men and women as well. And it's just, being an intimidation to others who are not understanding of our culture, our heritage, our history. And at that point, it was just, like you said, it was just so much backlash on Facebook, and I'm not the type of person who wants to continue to go back and forth. Rakeem, you don't find him, our other, the member of our team, Antonio, as well. You don't really find us going back and forth online. You got to be a voice. You got to put the actions, put your words to actions. And the why for me was just, it was too real to ignore it. It was too real to ignore it. It was, at this point, people looked at rioting and looting and they made that, protesting. And that's not what protesting is. That's not what people who protest does. You can't mix Malcolm X and Martin Luther King methods within the same bracket. These are two totally different people, two totally different men who have different perspectives, One felt the need to go one way, the other felt the need to go another way. Does that mean that either or was wrong? It does not. It just means that they chose to put actions to their opinions. And where the understanding came is just where it came. And that's kind of how, when I was blessed to meet up with him and Antonio, it was just like I have two major figures, two successful black men. So at this point, you want to show the world exactly who we can be and, who you can expect the future of us to be. And that was really like the biggest thing with me. It's kind of just like playtime is over. If I'm going to talk it, I'm going to walk it as well. And that's exactly what I chose to do, my community chose to do, the support from other establishments, restaurants, stores that came to back us up chose to do. And you will have people that won't understand, and we can't make everybody understand, but we can only continue to show you our actions, what we're trying to do, the point that we're trying to prove. You know, it's bigger than us. It's bigger than black and white. This is a whole good or bad, just us for just this.
Absolutely.
So that's just how I felt about it. I really, you know, it was a strong, motivating feeling, a strong team, and a strong community, you know, so it was no choice but to really move forward with the protection and trying to protect our community.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Bobby, I don't got nothing on
You got me pumped.
Don't be
Oh, she got me pumped up. Hey, that was nothing but the truth. That was real. I agree with both of them wholeheartedly. We've been out here because, you know, it's just been crazy. It's been shocking. Literally
Absolutely.
walking down the streets chanting, "We're tired. We're tired."
Man.
That's why we were protesting, because a lot of people, like you said, they just don't get it. They don't understand. And some people, they're still at the bars. We're walking past while we're protesting, and they're probably just like, damn,
Why?
they really that tired? Like, it's probably some of them people that gotta kind of get it in that moment. Like,
Right.
there's about 14, 15 of these people walking down the street, not just black people,
And that's
not
the
just
problem.
white people. There were several different, you know, nationalities in our little group sometimes. Right, right.
Exactly.
My partner, he had his kid out there, and she
Yeah.
broke down in tears whenever, you know, they said George Floyd was screaming, "Mama."
Yeah.
And we were out there and we were screaming, "Mama."
Yeah.
And she, like, just got, oh, my God.
Get goosebumps.
It gave me the chills, man. I know they kept asking me, like, it's the most powerful thing I've ever done in my life.
Yeah.
Like, we had about 200 people who was walking, and it was
Yeah.
just, like, so much energy and so many different emotions. I'm talking about, you see people you haven't seen, so that's a happy one.
Yeah.
And then you say a certain chant, you might get sad, like, dang, that's crazy, or you might get mad, or you shed a tear. I did all that in the about 30, 45 minutes we walked. It was wild, and just so many different emotions. But we wanted to make sure we got out there first to keep it positive, to make sure it went in the right direction, because it can easily go left. There were certain things and situations that we did handle really well, with discipline, you know what I mean? And
Absolutely.
proud of my people for that. We held it down because
Yeah.
I know they wasn't expecting us to,
Yeah.
you know, be out there and be, you know,
And salute to
civilized.
you, because you kept a whole group of people safe.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's major. You got single moms to come out and go back home.
Man.
You got
Yeah.
fathers to come out and not get arrested.
And
you
that
got
was-
people that really you protected. You know, not only did you
group.
speak for your people, they
Right.
spoke with you, but you protected your people. Like, I watched that live and I was just like, man, like, yo, I can't do anything else but salute him for that. And anybody else that was out there, like, and was trying to keep the peace, you kept your whole family, community, and everybody else safe. And a protest, we do come to get our voice out and to be heard, but we also come to, because we do plan to go back home.
Facts,
You know,
facts.
And I think that's huge, because at the end of the day, that's why we're here. I
Right.
mean, everybody. That's why we're doing what we're doing. Not only are we tired, but, you know, as Reverend Al Sharpton said in the eulogy of George Floyd, you know, it's time to get their knee off our necks. You know, we've been
Man, we was
sacrificing.
chanting that, bro.
Yeah, we've been sacrificing
Woo.
so much. And as an African American male, that could have been me. That could have been you.
Facts.
You know what I
Facts,
mean?
bro.
So when you think about that. And, you know, the biggest thing that I'll say, and then I'll give it back to you, but it's more so about the 8 minutes and 46 seconds.
That's a long
Think
time,
about that.
bro.
That's a lot.
Just think, 8 minutes and 46
That's a long
seconds.
time to do almost anything.
Yeah, 8
Yeah,
minutes
yeah.
and 46 seconds. And for us to come together, you know, give our, 8 minutes and 46 seconds of silence and, you know, on our knees, and we're, you know, thanking God that that's not us. It could have been us. But at the most important time, we're understanding and seeing what he's going through, you know, how he went through this at this time. So for 8 minutes and 46 seconds, another human being took their hands and their knees and basically took this man's life. You know what I mean? Like, so that right there lets you know, what do we value? Do we value power, prestige, or life in general? You see what I'm saying? And so when we had everybody, I mean, like, you know, like Ray needs to say, kudos to you, and it's big. It's bigger than what we're doing. This is a national movement.
Yeah,
like we got to
facts.
get the everybody across the globe involved, because
Right.
you know, this is a systematic issue that's been going on for way too long, and so that's what I would say, man. You know, when I look at brothers like you, I look at brothers like myself, and that's not a knock to any of the ladies, but it could have been us.
That's right.
You know, it could have been us. You know, when I think about that 8 minutes and 46 seconds and this man crying out, "Mama," and I mean, I just look at that and think about, you know, that could have been me, could have been you, it could have been any of our young males out here or older males out here. So that's a fact that really, when I seen what you was doing and we seen what we was doing, not as I watch them in Atlanta, you know, doing what they doing, I'll be honest with you, I'm not against it, because some people tolerate a little bit more than others, and then some people tolerance is little. So when you think about that, hey, at the end of the day, somebody got to do it, and it's a way to get your statement across. So that's all I'll say.
Facts. Most definitely.
First of all, I am Janie Jones, and I am an African American caucus. I'm the president of it. And my thing was that these young folks got out there, you know, and as an elder, you know, reading the Word of God, it was telling me, you know it's wrong. You need to get out there and you need to stand up for what's wrong. And I said, Lord, I don't know where I need to go. And then all of a sudden, they popped up. And I said, Lord, we have to make a change. This can't keep happening. I have grandkids that's 10 and 8 years old that I want to see grow up and don't have to go through what y'all going through. So for me, my hat's off to you that y'all took the stand, took the time out to do what you're doing. And then, like I said, as an elder, it's our job to make sure that you get done what you're doing and not do it in a lewd way, not a disrespectful way, but do it in integrity, respect. So I just want to make sure, for me, that I'm behind what you do. I stand behind you, and my thing is that we need to hit them in the pockets. So in order to hit them in the pockets, we have to make sure they register to vote. We got to change the local, because that's where it is in our time, in your time. So once we change that, then once we get ready to go for their pockets, we have that amen right there, standing there with us. So be encouraged, keep the good fight, and I got some age on me. I got some wisdom, and that's what I'm going to use, is what God gave me. He told me this is what I need to do for our children, generation after generation. So that's my why.
Right.
I know that's right. We appreciate you so much.
And my why, I wanted to have these young people on today because I really wanted to have them to be able to tell themselves. You see the signs, you saw the marching, if you cared to see. I hope that if you saw something, you didn't just think negatively about it, that you actually tried to look at it. The reason that I want these things to be on social media and not just on YouTube somewhere is because I want people to be able, in your quiet time, in your home, if you don't understand, I want you to have time to understand. And, you know, you can't say that you didn't know anybody. These young people are right here in our community. They're available. We're available. We want you to understand that we're not unapproachable. If you don't understand and you want to know what this is about, have a conversation. If it's not somebody that you don't feel safe talking to, guys, you got to open your eyes and look at your neighbor. Open your eyes and open yourself up. For far too long, we have stayed in our own little corners, and it's creating this still type of segregation that we shouldn't have. I don't want to live in the neighborhood with that person. I don't want to go to church with that person. I don't want to walk on the street with that person. That is that's racism. And it's just that simple. So when the person that doesn't look like you walks in your church, don't get nervous. They want to come to church. When the person that doesn't look like you moves in your neighborhood, don't move. They want to have a better life like you do. So, you know, these are kind of some of the things that we experience on a daily basis. We see it, we feel it, and then typically we have to be the bigger, better people and move forward. Because, you know, if you act in a certain way, you're angry or you're hostile. And so it's not about being angry and hostile. So we're going to talk about some of these situations that have occurred that we've been way better than hostile. That we've had to step up on a level that most people don't even understand to be able to handle the situation. And so, guys, this is huge, and it's very meaningful to a lot of people that look like me, that we've got to stop. We got to stop this. We got to come together as a world. We got to stop looking at each other like we're just that different, because we do all bleed the same color. There's multiple songs and multiple, 60 years ago, people were marching. 50 years ago, people were marching. 150 years ago, you were getting released. 400 years ago, we were in slavery. I mean, but today we're like, it's 2020, and we still talking about this. We still talking about people different because what my skin looks like. When I show up at a job interview, or when Rainisha shows up at a job interview, and I've told my son this before. That's my son, by the way. I've told my son this before. When you walk in the room, your calling card is your skin color. So then you have to go over and above and beyond to make people see those other parts of you. It shouldn't be that way, but it is. And so we're just going to talk a little bit about the marches. And then we're going to talk about some incidents that happened during the march. And then we're going to bring it back around and talk about some of our experiences with the police departments in our communities, because sincerely, that's what this is all about. So saying all that to say, tell me about the march in Mooresville. Like, how many people did you guys have? Do you feel like came out for your march? If we got some pictures, we do still have to get those shared out. Thank you, Miss Janie, for sending those. So yes, beautiful pictures, definitely. Beautiful day.
The Mooresville Police Department drone picked up about 700 people. I know it was over 600 for sure.
Yeah, definitely over 600, close to 700. I think the biggest thing is when you look at it from a standpoint, it wasn't just black people out, it was people of all race, absolutely. People of all walks of life. And that, I think, for everybody that's on this panel today is like the reason why we're doing what we're doing, because we can't fight this fight alone. Absolutely. I mean, it can't be done with just us. We need everybody on the same page, everybody at the forefront, because the only way change is going to happen is if we all come together. Equality is the biggest way we can make this happen. Right. There's no way around it. I mean, we can't fight this thing as a black thing, a white thing. It's just got to be an equality thing. Absolutely. And love conquers all, and that's the biggest thing that you got to understand. I mean, regardless of what you're going through, what the next person is going through, right now we fighting the same fight. Because a lot of times, and I had this, when we started the whole process to the protest, we got businesses in Mooresville boarding up their windows thinking that it's going to get dangerous. I mean, like that, if we talking about stereotypes right now, like when you say peaceful protest and you got businesses boarding up their windows, like what signs does that throw to your community? You know what I mean? That means you entrust more in your dollar bills that you're making than you do your community in itself. And that's not a positive or anything like that. It's just more so of, what do we value again?
And what do you see when I say things? When I say something like a peaceful protest, what does that mean to you?
Yeah,
indeed. I think that was like a huge...
That was a motivational factor.
Yeah, it was like a huge thing that definitely played a part.
The store that's shut down.
Yep.
Yeah.
At 11 o'clock.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of businesses closed early. Yeah, a lot of businesses closed early. Because but you know what, and going back to when we did the march in 2016, they closed businesses early. I had people reaching out to me, just, hey, you do this, I can promise you we'll meet you on the front line with my truck. Yeah. Like, it was, we received so many threats, and to me it was just like, definitely, that was way more than anything.
Which one was that?
And
that's sad. Which march was that?
That was in 2016.
Yeah, that was the first one.
It was a whole slew of comments. It was like a whole bashing page for my posts, my websites. I kept getting shared to places my posts had no business getting to, and it was a lot of people who felt obligated to tear it down before it was even a chance to build up something positive.
Take your voice.
Yeah.
And that's the thing is, it was like this time when I, had the support of Rakim and Antonio, I felt a little bit more confident. You're not going to shut me up this time. Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
I had I definitely had my cousins. They played a part in that. Simone, Taya, Jamie, my cousin, she's always been the video photographer, help us get everything done with the graphic designs and everything. So my family is my team, but I definitely, like I told them, and with these guys and my family, like, you can't shut me down. You can't shut me up.
Yeah.
And you put a little bit of fear in there, but you didn't stop the show. Yeah. You know what I mean? And it'll always be, and like my mom, she's a strong woman of God, and she always told me a soft answer turns away wrath. You can't continue to think that you're going to have to, speak back to these people, and then you're going to try to do something positive at the same time. You're just going to have to shut up and do it.
That's right.
And at that point, that's kind of what it was. And, this time, like Rakeem was saying, though, we had a lot of supporters of all colors. Yeah. We had we had a lot of white people there. Yeah. And you know what? I seen one girl's shirt, and it said, "Get behind me." And like, I want to cry because it's major, because as a black woman, it is our job to stand behind our black men, but I'm going to always feel the need to protect mine. Yeah. And to see them actually want to protect them too, and walk beside them, walk in front of them, walk behind them, that right there does something major. It's so much support within the right people that I'm not going to tear down all people, but we're going to keep the focus on black people.
Right.
Yeah, indeed.
So that's what it's about right now.
And that's the thing. And that was the problem. It was always, hey, I feel like that was stereotyping me because I'm black, and the white person found a way to get us to sweep it under the rug, or a person of a different color could sweep it under a rug.
Handle your feelings about
it's 400 plus years later. You're not gonna tell us that no more. This is 2020, and like you said, we've been fighting this fight for way too long. Do we agree with the looting, with the burning down? I'm not gonna say I do. I'm not gonna say I don't. Yeah. But at the end of the day, like Rakeem said, you can't tell a person how to be angry. You can't tell me how to be tired. Once I've hit my point to where it was just like, I got my own stuff going on right now. This march is bigger than me. I don't feel like I can do this. I'm feeling really discouraged. I don't want to put anybody in a position to get hurt. I don't know if I can protect people the way you can. Right.
Getting out there because I asked them to.
Right.
Not knowing who's going to come out and be mad because I'm expressing how I feel.
Absolutely.
And I know why I'm going out. You're going out for a peaceful protest to bring some people together.
Right. And I know how we ruffled feather last time, but it was so much support. More so just having Rakeem, a huge, he's not only a native of Mooresville, but this man is a big image when it comes to our community. It's not the Agape now. It's our Selma Burke Center. Yeah. It's not only that he does events around town for and just involves himself. Don't have to host it, just needs to support it. Mm-hmm. To have somebody like that around me, is genuine like that around me, I'm like, I can't lose. Yeah. We can't lose. This will go down. You had a lot of different people that was there that was just like, I'm going to stand behind y'all. I'm going to talk with y'all. I'm tired too. I'm white, but I'm tired. Yeah. Right. Oh, yeah. I mean, it was one white guy. We were just like, get your foot off my neck. I can't breathe. And he was like, I can't breathe. Yeah. And we were just like, like we,
I mean, if you look at the video, it's so many more white people out there screaming the Black Lives Matter, and for us, I know it makes us feel good because we need that support.
Right.
It may take us standing up for it, but we need them to come behind and be with us. That's the way this movement is going to work. I mean, I think when you look at it, and I seen, the protests that you got, it's the same thing. Exactly. I mean, you got people of all walks of life coming in and all screaming the same thing, and it's one big peaceful protest. Right. And at the end of the day, regardless of like Ray was saying, and Antonio, who's not here today, but his biggest thing was we just want to be treated equal. Yeah. When you look at some of the things that has happened over the past 3 months to 2 years. I mean, you got a guy who has been involved in a Charleston massacre that they take him and eat cheeseburgers. Right. You see what I'm saying? Like Antonio spoke on that at the protest, because that in itself is a difference from this man George Floyd, who may have had some criminal background in the past, but he didn't even get a chance to eat anything. It was just a knee on your neck, I'm taking you out, and that's it. Right. But this guy kills 9 people and you take him to get double cheeseburgers from
After
McDonald's.
you had to chase him down and go find him.
The crazy thing about this particular situation right here is how it kind of really, really shook up the world.
Yeah.
And I think it woke a lot of people up. And the momentum that's still carrying from that day, it hasn't stopped. And progress has been made, and we can't let it stop. That's up to us now. We got to keep it going, keep it hot, like we all say around these parts. The time for that is now, and if we let up, it just goes back to normal.
Sweeping it under the rug again.
Like, that's what we can't let happen.
We're not sweeping anything.
We can't let that happen.
And that's why they say why the water stirred up.
Absolutely.
We need to move with.
Absolutely. Preston, I want you to talk to me about the event that happened at y'all's march.
Yes.
That got you guys so upset, and how it was handled, and then how how that made you feel.
Y'all had me
In my lifetime,
Let me back up and say something.
Let's talk about it.
This is my child. This beautiful
she
black
was
man
hot.
is my baby. So that morning, I get a phone call from the chief of police in Statesville, and he's like, "Well, ma'am, did you know your son is planning a protest?" I'm like, "No, I don't."
No.
Yeah, I don't. So I'm like, okay, it's about 9 o'clock in the morning. Well, we've had some issues. We just want to make sure everything is calm. Hold that thought. We got this. Yeah. Call my baby. Preston, Chief just called. We good? We good, Mama. I said, okay. Make sure you are good. Okay? Okay, Mama. So I spend my day in prayer because this is my son. We're in Statesville, North Carolina, in Iredell County. In this hugely Republican community. In this incredibly volatile time in America where people are trying to divide us. I don't care how you look at it. People are trying to divide us by the R's and the D's that sit beside your name. And to me, it is just as clear as the nose on my face and on my son's face. It's not right. So I'm sitting there thinking, okay, it's going to be okay. You're going to go do this. The girl, Storm, what was her name?
Storm.
There's a young lady here named Storm, and we did invite her today. Not sure where she is. She was supposed to come, but we'll get her story too. But she had done a small protest at Mitchell that night before, and they had out, the signs, and they were standing there, and it was beautiful.
They're out there every night at 7 o'clock.
They've been out there for 17 days straight now?
And they're out there
17 days straight. 17 days straight.
Until stuff happens.
Until we get some reform and some information and some, with the police department here.
It's literally going down.
Shout out to her.
Yes, big shout out.
That's dedication.
And so this is a Sunday evening. Was it Sunday?
The first night was a Saturday, then the Sunday night was the night we went,
Okay, so it was a Sunday. I was like, Lord Jesus, I don't mean no harm. It's Sunday. I don't know if I can do this. And I'm like, I'm tired. I've worked all week. And I'm like, so it just kind of, my heart just kind of sank. I'm like, dude, do you know what you're doing? Like, it's so huge when you put something on your back. But you're trying to do it for the right reasons. Right. All I want to do is go be a voice. But you got to keep in mind that Charlotte was rioting, Minneapolis was rioting, they done burned down a police department. Everybody's upset. Everybody's on edge.
But to me, again, that's where they took the terminology of looting and burning and mixed it with protest.
So protests and rioters are different. And so, I had to explain that to a couple of people. I'm like, no, there's a big difference. Rioters and protesters are not the same.
They don't come with the same intention.
They're not
the same. The thing about that day was...
And so that day, go ahead, Preston.
On the way there, me and my friend, Kedar, good dude. Never met him a day before that. We actually played ball way back in the day at the rec. I've seen him around, but I've never met him until then. And, it's crazy. I done met some of the realest people, most solid people since then. But me and him was on the way there. I was like, bro, I ain't never done nothing like this in my life. Yeah. I don't even know what to expect.
Back up for a second and tell me what made you make that post.
Because I was sitting there and I was just looking and thinking to myself, man, it's going crazy everywhere. It's spreading like wildfire. It could have easily been negative here. It could have easily been, a bad situation. So we wanted to jump out front and be peaceful, be chill, be civil, but be solid and for real, and show them that we weren't playing, that we could unify and do it the right way.
Right.
So
Say that part again.
we wanted to unify and make sure we could do it the right way and show them that we I don't think they believe in us or unity for us. They don't think we think like that.
Right.
So being out there was just, important because of course we love the fact that all these white folk out there pumping, pushing for us, but I don't think too many of us would have even went out there. It was a few people, but as far as, once we made the post, it was like, yeah, this is really serious, it's real. Man, it was like 200 some people out there that's good for here. You know what I mean?
It was great. It was great for 10 hours.
It was,
you made the post.
right.
Yeah.
We had made it the day before,
What
and sometime in the afternoon. It might have been around 7 or 8
It was
that
about
night.
6 or 7
For
when
real.
I saw it. So
Yeah.
by 10 o'clock that next morning, I had a phone call, and by the next evening, they had all of these people ready. And I'm sitting here like, okay.
And it had signed, everything. But the crazy part about the whole time was we had marched the city, felt all the emotions, felt all the chills and the goosebumps and the passion. You could just hear it coming up and down the street. It was crazy. People crying, women crying, kids laying on their stomach with their hands behind their back screaming. I'm talking about in tears. It was crazy to me. So I ain't never felt nothing or seen anything quite like this. And we get to the sheriff's department and whatever. We had our talk with them and whatnot. Walking up the street.
Tell us where you marched.
We watched all downtown Statesville. We covered pretty much every, walk past every block you could walk on around here, from the police department to the sheriff's department. So,
Oh, really?
yeah, we standing in front of both of them, and there were police actually with us because there was stuff that we didn't even pay attention. I got calls that there were 3 white supremacists in our group trying to mess stuff up, doing different chants than what we were doing, like saying stuff just to agitate and get people riled up, trying to rile up the police with Matt. We didn't even know. I got a call and was told this, and crazy, we didn't even know what was standing right amongst us. So we're walking, the police walking behind us and kind of beside us, kind of had our back, It was kind of like a feeling of
relief a little.
It was a little bit of relief, and then we get to, the sheriff's department, and same thing. We kind of got surrounded by them as if they were scared that we were going to attack them.
Yeah.
It's crazy. We walking up, and they're putting their gloves on, cracking their neck.
Oh, no.
I'm like, yo.
We don't. Not
No. Like, bro, we
Like,
peaceful. And I literally asked him, I said, this is a peaceful protest. Y'all ready? Like, what y'all ready for? Like,
you shouldn't even have to do
like,
that.
we got women and kids literally walking with us, and people of all races, and you are a part of our community. Can we talk to you like that? Like, take your badge off, take all that off, and just be a person real quick and try to understand where we're coming from. Okay, boom, we had that conversation. Walking up the street, I hear somebody yell, gun! No. You know how that first initial feeling when a fight break out and you can hear commotion, you just hear that ruffling, you see people running like when you're in the club. That's what it was like, yo. I was like, yo, I know ain't nobody up there fighting.
You can't
That's wild, I know. Ain't nobody fighting right now, man. So apparently they like, no, it's somebody across the street with a gun. I'm looking through the trees, and it's literally this older white guy, heavy set, tall white guy.
White t-shirt.
I don't even remember what he had on. I think it was more
I've
like,
seen the picture.
man, he's just standing there with an AR.
White
Big
t-shirt,
one.
yeah.
It wasn't no regular one. It didn't look regular to me. I have one.
It was like to his,
But it was
his- to
different.
his
So
knee.
he's strapped up and he's got a pistol on his hip too. So I literally my first thought was to get in front. I don't know what he about to do. I'm thinking he might shoot the start. We done seen the worst. We done seen churches. We done seen movie theaters get shot up. So in my schools, in my head, I'm thinking, oh, this is crazy. So I walked dead in the middle of the road where the yellow lines are, and I'm like, bro, what are you doing? Like, we got kids out here. It's not even that kind of party, bro. I could see if you was walking with us and you had your gun, that's one thing. If you were acting as if you were gonna be with us and we don't know what's going on, that's different. But he was on the other side of the road looking real suspicious. We don't know what's going on. I don't know who's with him. I don't know what the plan or the plot is. So I immediately I walked to the road. They were like down the street a little bit.
That's what I want to know.
Because we were leaving the sheriff's department, coming up the road. So by the time I guess they realized he was walking across the crosswalk with the gun, they were parked a little bit down the road, but they started coming up, and you could see him stopping. Wow. So I'm like, yo, you gonna put your knee in his neck? What is it? What's going on? And like I literally almost just lost my cool.
But then you got the kids out there.
But that's what I was saying.
Because they see a gun. Like
he said he was there to, because basically he was protecting the streets. Like, what you mean he's protecting the streets?
That's what the police for.
See, that's the.
I like what you talking about. Like,
to me, that's the problem, man.
That was wild, man.
That's the problem.
Oh, it gets worse. Keep going.
They stopped him.
No,
Me and
stuff he said.
Ashley Flowers, that was a little bit, about 20 minutes after that. Wow. She was standing right beside me and somebody else. And we were like, why are y'all allowing him to just stand there and antagonize? He's taunting us, bro. He's trying to be funny, literally. Yeah. We got kids over here. He's trying to get something started.
Why is this man allowed on the street with an AR, AK?
Second Amendment,
not even just a gun,
we understand.
AK.
All the rights, we get it. But, yeah, he has his rights and whatnot, but he's literally trying to incite terror amongst people.
But that's what they wanted to happen.
Right, they wanted that to happen.
He's like, if I show up, they gonna spaz out, they gonna flip out, somebody gonna get arrested.
And then the whole message is gone.
But he should not have been allowed.
Take the focus from you.
From us to him.
You're mean, you're violent, you're angry. I want you to show off.
But you're the one in the street with a gun.
Right, looking like a plumb idiot, too.
People.
Looking stupid, really.
I mean, very dumb.
Because, like I said, if he was with us, like, yo, Black Lives Matter, I get it. We don't want anything. But that's fake, too. So you really just don't know who to trust, So the whole time, I'm looking at all of them like
paranoid.
You know what I mean? Just a little bit on edge.
I understand it.
Right, we're on edge like crazy.
I understand that.
So 10 minutes later, hey, this where it gets crazy.
That's crazy.
This the whack part about it. 10 minutes later, we're standing on the side because I'm still kind of mad that they didn't do anything. They didn't. It wasn't aggressive. They were more aggressive with me, and I ain't had no gun.
They told him to leave.
They were more aggressive with me, and I didn't even have a gun. He got a gun on him, and I'm like, yo, so y'all really all in my face, but y'all got over there whispering in his ear, kissing his neck, grabbing his butt. Wow, we standing here mad.
No way.
And like I'm just talking, I'm saying I don't even know what I'm saying this time. Everybody's crying because they're mad that he just allowed that.
Like, are you serious?
And it was just one
dude that we know of, but like I said, 10 minutes later, we look down the street, and I'm like, wait. I said, bro, that's him right there. He's still standing right there by our cars where we parked at.
And that's what I'm saying. Why would you let him leave when you see, obviously, whether you feel it's peaceful or not, why was this man allowed to leave?
Planning on doing?
But when y'all let him leave, he's still allowed to endanger somebody else when they get in their car.
And trying to intimidate us.
And I'm not being funny, but...
So that's when I literally walked to him, like, closest for me to that camera, like, bro, why? He was like, I promised the people I would come out here. I promised. He said some other stuff.
Really?
Talking crazy now.
I hope y'all show up when he go to court.
Talking crazy.
He got it down the road.
So they're pulling me back. I'm still walking, I'm just infuriated. This time I never been so mad in my life. I can't imagine if my daughter was there. I just would have really lost it. But I know all these other kids is there. So, and they're pulling me backwards, and I'm trying to break loose. But at the same time, I'm like, this dude, he's walking backwards, looking at me with his gun like this. I'm walking forward towards him. He's looking at me like, kind of smirking almost. Like, it was crazy. So the police finally make it to the scene. Yeah, well, police finally make it to the scene. And they're, he's got the right to have the gun. We told him to leave. I said, what you mean? So then I'm just mad because I really feel like I'm getting my intelligence insulted or whatnot. So
whenever there's a protest going on, from my understanding, it is illegal by law for anybody to even permitted concealed. You cannot carry an arm
on either side
while there is a parade or a march or a protest going on. That's by law. And they wrote that. They wrote that.
Yeah, and they changed it, don't they?
What you think? I'm tired. They got me hot. That gets on my nerves, man.
I know you. You got this.
You got this. Arrested, but the next day y'all go protest again.
Oh no, it wasn't like that. It was actually the next day we went to City Hall because we heard that they were having a meeting there. So we wanted to speak with the mayor and the chief to ask them, more questions about situations like that. That's the reason for the whole protest. That's defeating the whole purpose that we're out there. So, and I was telling them, if I was out there with my gun and we were protesting, how would y'all have acted towards me? I would have had y'all knee in my neck, been on my I'm blanking on all of them, and I was trying to be respectful as I could, but all that was out the door because now y'all done pushed all these people over the limit. When you see people crying, kids crying, and parents crying, it was crazy. So you got people getting in their cars, leaving speeding off. They're scared, right? We don't know what's happening.
We don't know you. You may know you, and you
the
know
next
what
day,
I don't know you.
We go downtown to sit on the steps or whatever at the city hall at their meeting. They were discussing some millions of dollars about something, and we were sitting out there, and they let me go up, and I was sitting there for a little bit, and I could still hear the people outside screaming, "Your knee is on my neck," or "Black Lives Matter." They were blanking. They got the walls rattling, shaking the room. I was like, thinking to myself like, "Yo, that's real," and they felt it. So whenever they got done, they
came outside.
The chief was like, "Man, come here, bro. Come here. We gonna whatever. We got you. What y'all want?" And I was like, "We're gonna be right here till y'all get done." Because we just want to chop it up about, and as a matter of fact, the dude from last night still riding around. We need you to handle that. He's still riding around in that black truck circling the block. Now, if we get people out here to follow him or circle the block with him, or we're not going to get attacked. We're not getting attacked out here, man. He was like, you're right, I understand that. I got it. So, boom, he handled it. He got the dude, whatever, he got arrested.
He got arrested out there?
They went down there and got him because
that day?
It was three black trucks were right there at the Civic Center back then.
So he was
looking down the street. This time he wasn't alone. This time he had friends, and it was crazy because I knew something wasn't right. They was trying to be funny because one of the black trucks had rolled up the street and he stopped and he was like, "Hey man, we just want to commend y'all for being peaceful." I thought he was being funny. I'm like, and we got ARs too. We peaceful, we chilling, but we definitely got the ARs.
That's what he said.
He said that. Now I don't know which one I just know it was one of them black trucks with two white guys in it, and they looking like them other people, like they stereotype us. We don't know what's going on now. You know what I'm saying? Ain't that how they do us?
Stereotype.
We right. So now, whenever he did that, I'm thinking he trying to be funny, like, okay, yes, and anything, like, whatever. And people like, "No, Preston, he's really trying to be nice." I was like, "Nah, I don't believe that. That didn't feel genuine at all,
and you would know what's genuine.
And I don't like when nobody try to be funny with me, and that's what that felt like. But anywho, Chief and they came down, spoke with us. They went down there, got him, arrested him. The next morning, it came out on the news, and we celebrated like,
I know, right?
Like get him out of here. Hopefully, he can't get no more weapons in his life. Hopefully, whatever the furthest extent of the law is taken out on him, and they call all the time just to follow up because they really want to make sure it stick.
Yeah,
they're not trying to get off on the technicality. They all serious about it, and like that's little stuff like that we want more of. Momentum on that side.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna tell you, man.
The conversation with the police was really good.
Yeah, that
state police.
Right, just trying to keep it going too because they get a bad rap about a lot of stuff, but this dude's super hands on. Yeah. He's like, "Bro, I see what you're trying to do, and I get it." And
the chief.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
And we don't have any leaders. And how many leaders do we have in the black community in the world? So for us to be in Statesville and have a black chief, to me that's dope because like last year sometime when I was slow to it. I didn't even know, but when I learned we had a black chief, I was like, that's crazy. Right. I want to meet him. Just one day randomly, I called him, and he was like, "Yeah, you can stop by." Yeah. I just wanted to pick his brain and ask his questions because I know where we at. I know the Statesville, so I'm like, how did he get in that spot? Like, what? That's that kind of intrigued me a little bit. We literally have nobody to look up to or role models to ask questions to. It's crazy. So I wanted to pick his brain, and he gave me a whole lot of his background about Durham and what it's like there. And I'm like, "Oh, you from Durham? Yeah. It's real out there." So this right here. And he was like, "Oh, I got it. Don't even worry." He was like, "I got it. They don't know me yet. Not sure if they follow me or believe in me. It's a lot of people who don't like me, but they're gonna learn that I ain't nothing to play with. I ain't no joke." And he exited 15 months, 16 months, something like that. And little stuff like that. Like we're having an event tomorrow, and he's like, "Man, you're not gonna have to worry about anything Saturday. You know what I mean? Like getting shut down as far as, crazy stuff that I've seen in the past. Now that they actually get that this is a positive vibe, it's not a, we're not just out there trying to have parties. We
Like
out
it's
there
a
getting
whole
people
bunch of us
registered to
get
vote
together and
this
the
time.
police show up.
Yeah, we
they
gonna
feel
eat
like
because
they
that's what we
gotta
do.
be
That's our
there.
culture.
That's
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But and my whole mission statement is
like
raising
they
awareness
big.
in the
It's not
community
that big.
about business, education, and culture.
can't stand
And then
that.
politics came in because politics. I don't want to be doing politics. I don't want to do
part
this.
of
And see, that's how
I don't want to do this.
That's how we gonna make the change.
Facts.
And see,
Facts.
that's key. I mean, just
Locally,
listening to
They want
that
to.
story is like,
I'm right there with you.
listening to that story
Not the
it's tough. I mean, those are challenges that we deal with though. Still, I mean, you touched on it when you talk about 100 years ago, 200 years. We're 2020 and we're still going through this same thing. Now, let me ask you this, President. On the flip side, if it would have been a peaceful protest on the other hand, and you have a black male with an AR-15, how do you think it would have been handled?
Going down,
Let me ask you
There
that.
would've been some smoke
You see what I'm
downtown.
saying? So that's
Before they even walked up,
yeah.
they said they putting on gloves
Yeah,
and everything.
so see-
I thought
Ready.
it was innocent till
That
proven
was
guilty. I
very,
thought you
very,
guilty
yeah.
to
But I thought you was here to protect and serve.
us.
I didn't like
That's
that.
the way
So
it is
for-
for us.
Yeah, for me, man, that's tough. That's why we're here. That's why we're doing what we're doing, because
Facts.
at the end of the day, that's hearing that story. It make next time, the next event, I'm there.
I'm
there. Because
And we love that, bro.
Yeah, stuff
Because
like that is
same
what you,
way. We're in Mooresville. We
Yeah.
don't mind, bro.
Yeah.
We gotta be more united in
what,
groups,
Yeah.
man.
It's just
Yeah.
like right now, this is Statesville and this is Mooresville, but
Yeah.
we just can't forget that regardless, we are out there.
Right. We won that division.
At the end of the
That's
day,
division itself.
that's
right
why
there.
I told them,
Yeah.
We
yeah,
gotta
yeah,
work.
we got
We
traffic.
Right, all that in
and I
one.
think-
And people in them people really got to get with us too. The people
Yeah.
in Harmony and Trout, man,
Oh,
because
yeah.
they
Yeah.
small
Yeah.
cities.
Yeah.
Y'all gotta be at
Come on.
these
Stand
protests
for
and
something,
rallies,
fall
man.
for anything.
Because y'all live in very small cities, and it's
What?
real dark in them woods.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I'm telling you.
And that was the biggest thing I think in the Mooresville protest. And kudos to the police department in Mooresville, because they actually came out. They
Right,
supported
man,
us big
Atkins.
time. I mean, we
That's
had
awesome.
officers out there, Black Lives Matter,
Taking a knee.
taking a knee.
Whoa, they took a knee in Mooresville.
Oh, yeah.
Hey.
We tried to get them to
and-
take a knee at the sheriff's department. I didn't even want to bring that up.
I mean, we had
No,
officers taking knees.
absolutely not.
To be honest with you, they were walking right with us.
Yeah.
Front line and center, they were walking right with us. Man. Kudos to the Mooresville Police Department, because they did a good job. I mean, they helped Ray get it all together as far as the permit. Again, when you look at it, the security portion of it, and then I think that morning we had a drive-by. A drive-by protest.
Yep, just to
it was
regulate the
215 cars that they blocked off all of Mooresville from Highway 150 into downtown. So the PD was just side by side at that as well. So I mean, this race relationship is going to be bigger than what we're doing in our communities. We need the police departments involved.
Oh,
we
yeah,
need
bro.
the political leaders involved.
Facts.
We need everybody
It's
involved.
that deep, man.
We need everybody involved, from leadership down to just the community citizens. So
Right.
I think the number one thing that I see that police got to do a better job of is just getting out in the community and letting your voices and letting your face be seen outside of that badge.
Yeah, I want to know
I
your
mean,
name.
Yeah, man, that's how small our communities are.
Yeah,
That should be very.
you got to get out.
Yeah,
You got to
well-known
because
people.
you hit on something that's real big. Like, our generations to come, they need role models.
That's right.
They need role models. So if they don't have black leaders or people in
Facts,
leadership,
man, that's
it ain't even
sick.
about being black. It's about being people in leadership.
Leadership, period.
Leadership that's going to be about equality, that's going to lead them the right direction, that's going to give them a chance to be promoted and have opportunities. That's what this is about.
Right.
Yeah.
When you think about that, if we talk about how we're going to bridge the gap between, community and police, you guys got to get out in these streets. And I'm
Right.
talking about for the right reasons.
Right.
For the right reason, not just
Every
chasing
time,
down people,
all
everybody.
the time,
Yeah.
Not with the lights.
Yeah,
Not with
yeah.
The gas,
Right,
having
right,
conversations,
Yeah.
Right.
Getting the telephone numbers.
Yep.
I commend that man to the nth degree,
Yeah.
because I'm trying to tell you, when he called me at 9:00 that morning,
Yeah.
And I have his number programmed in my phone.
Oh yeah.
Because I work at the radio station. I'm sitting here like.
Oh, she probably thought I done got into something.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I'm sitting there.
Heart done
My heart dropped.
Yeah.
I already know.
He's like, Miss Watson, all calm. I'm like, yes. He said, your son. All this stuff went everywhere.
Yeah.
They look, you didn't hear nothing else.
All I heard was your son.
A big thing that I just
And then he was
wanted.
like, he's planning the well, I'm like, well, okay. And I didn't get upset about the protest. I'm just listening like, okay, well, what are you saying? He was like, well, you know, there are some people that are commenting and da-da-da. I was like, okay, hold that thought. Got this. My whole thing is when you have that kind of relationship, I called Preston. He had people that had, you know, said some things that were a little bit raucous. They were silly people. Then they were joking because I know them. But we had to put a stop to all of that.
Yeah.
That's not what we're doing here.
Same here.
Yeah.
So we make the phone call. No. He made the phone call. That's not what we're doing here.
Yeah.
And if
Period.
that's what you want, please do not come.
Yeah.
Please do not come.
Yeah.
And so then I think that night I'm still kind of paranoid. So I go, hey baby, how you doing? Check the mood, check the scene. You go out there. I'm tired. My feet hurt. I was sitting there looking like, dude, I can't.
You
keep
stayed
walking
for a
out.
good 30 minutes, and then when it got real when it got dark.
She said, you got missing. I said, dude, it was Sunday night.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't know anything about it, so I hadn't prepared for it. So, you know, it was beautiful. And I got out there. You could just tell that the atmosphere was good. They had the signs. People were ready. The
Drinks,
sheriff was
people
there.
dropping off food, man.
Yeah.
People just word.
Big shout out to Carrabba's. Oh yeah.
Council people were out there.
Yeah, some of the
People from all
councilmen.
different communities out there. I'm like, okay, that's good people. I literally walked off and I
Council
looked at this
chairs.
lady and I said, watch my baby. She said, okay. And I go home and I start praying and I spend the next 4 hours in prayer because I'm like, okay, just call me and tell me when it's over. Just call me and tell me when it's over. Just call me and tell me when it's over because I just want my baby to get home and be okay. But that's the kind of stuff that we have to live with.
Oh yeah.
Walk the floors.
Yeah.
That's the kind of
That's
stuff that
what we have to
live
live with
Oh,
when
yeah.
you
I'm
out
pretty
at
sure
night.
your parents were doing
We
the
walk
same
the
thing.
floor.
Oh
She
yeah.
was
Oh
out there.
yeah. She was out there. She was out there.
I heard that.
She was out there.
We're tired of walking
We
the
are
floors
tired
when
of
our
it.
babies
We want
go
our babies
outside.
to be
Yeah.
safe.
We
When
want
they
our
leave their
babies to
doors,
be looked at just like y'all
we
look
don't
at
want
y'all
to get
babies.
up and say,
Yeah.
is they home yet? Oh, Lord, it's still out there.
Yeah.
And
My
that's
mom
what we
was
go
like,
for
your
generation
heart
and
like
generation.
stop.
Yeah.
We're tired.
Yeah.
And we
Oh,
want
yeah.
to stop.
My mom
I
called
want to
me
rest.
from the
That's
time
Like y'all
we
rest.
started talking about it to the, you know, I was cleaning up. Are you okay? Nobody came by, right? Like, everything okay? And she asked me a couple of days before it even went down. She was just like, Renisha, I'm just so, you know, I just been praying. I really been just, you know, worshiping with God, fellowship. And she was like, I really think you should reconsider this.
Yeah.
And I promise you, I had literally just left y'all,
Yeah.
you know, shaking in
Yeah.
fear,
Oh, yeah.
couldn't get my head
Oh, yeah.
together. And I told her, I said, Mom, I have some of the strongest
Yeah.
men behind
Oh
me.
no, we ain't.
I
Yeah.
said, I'm not backing. It's for the
you all the
show.
way in.
People asked us to reschedule due to
Yeah.
the weather saying it was going to rain. Listen, every day that this week goes on, the sun is coming out.
Yeah.
So,
Amen.
don't ask me.
I like
Not
that.
rescheduling
Oh, yeah.
anything.
I like that.
Right now.
So, and that,
Be
like,
spitting for real.
man, I like, it's, like you said, I don't want to be a politic. You know, I love
Yeah,
just type
well, I
on
wanna
the
do
I don't
this.
want to be out there leading nobody
Listen.
marching.
I didn't
Literally.
want to be
Thank you.
responsible. I didn't want to put myself on the front line. You know,
And
I got
on the
kids
front
too.
line.
Like
Right.
he said, I got two little girls.
Yeah,
You know,
I
and
mean-
no, my daughters wasn't there, but my nephew was. My other nieces was. My mom, my sisters. I have 4 or 5 brothers, and every single last one was out just showing support. Just even it's just that's what it's all about. You support me, I support you. We're gonna move this thing together. We're gonna walk as one. You know
And
what I
that's
mean?
where you're going to make a difference. for
And
the
my
children.
biggest
Right,
thing,
right,
the
right.
only thing
Plant
that I
seeds
really
now.
want the world to be aware of, because it's just like, here lately I'm just hearing a lot of good police officers have left the force. Good police officers are going to different precincts to continue within their career at a better facility.
Why?
Stop leaving.
Why?
Stop leaving. Because
Stand up and fight.
the more
Right.
that just choose to separate
Leave.
themselves,
Yes, it
we
keeps
get
the
a
bad
whole
ones in there.
group of bad ones. So how can you tell us to say that justice for police matters when you have other police leaving police.
Because they know they bad.
But what we're not gonna
know
do is
you know who the bed seat
you
is.
got a problem.
And
so
that's-
if you know if you got a bed seat,
we need them to
get
stay and do. We'll back you up.
Yeah.
I'll back you up.
Right,
You know,
right.
if we gotta write letters to, it won't be the president, but we gotta write letters to everybody else to get the
governor.
support that we need. The governor. If we gotta go to Atlanta and get they mayor, if we gotta
Word.
go anywhere else, you know what I mean? If
real.
we have to outsource, and that's just what it comes to build and to become better and get exactly the quality that we're searching for.
Yes,
That's
you
just
gotta
what it
do
is.
what
But
you
don't
gotta
leave
do.
us and go to another precinct. Protect us.
Especially
and
if you
work
know
that
it's
thing out.
bad people
Yeah.
that's
Community.
policing our
You
streets.
gotta
Oh Lord, you know what I mean?
That was my
And then they
biggest
can't
thing.
tell them they're
And
not gonna
I think
snitch on
really
their
communities
people or
gotta
be.
communities gotta
they
stand
gonna
up
let it go
behind those
on.
police
We do,
officers
and
too.
we
You
do.
know what I mean? I
We
think
respect our
not only that we don't want them to leave, but if they feel like they don't have the support they need from us,
But
you
they
know
gonna-
they gonna
Yeah,
leave.
true.
You know what I mean? And
They
I
gonna have
think
to
that
start calling their people out, too.
and that's
The police
that's
gotta
the
call out
thing.
the police. The
Yeah.
sheriff's gotta call out
Yeah.
the sheriffs.
Yeah.
All that.
And
The
just
Yeah.
bed
It's gonna
seat
have
do
to
not
rise up,
give
get
good
those
fruit.
lists, make those reports. When
Yeah.
you see somebody that's doing something that's wrong, guys, there are other people that are not here
Yeah.
that you can make those reports to.
There's a
And
community
sometimes you
review
just
board
gotta
coming.
go
Right.
over people's
We spoke
heads.
with them
Who was that?
yesterday.
Some of the
Officer
things
Brooks.
that we've
Yeah.
asked for. the
Officer
community
Brooks, Officer
review
Cooks.
board.
Yeah, it's coming. We did
Yeah.
that last night at the meeting we had
So
with
yeah,
the
so
mayor
there's a
and them.
list. So talk about some of the things that you've asked for from the city council or from. Did you guys ask for anything in Lawrenceville? Did you
Well-
ask for the police department for anything in particular?
I'll let Ray touch on that. Go ahead, Ray. I'll let Ray touch on it.
Oh man.
Be honest. And going forward, you still
That's
got to
what
make
we
it
want.
work.
Yeah.
Just don't
Stay
be
on
honest.
I put it like this. There's a way to do things. As I was raised, there's a way to do things. My mom has always said that there's a time and a place for everything. You do things in decency and in order. So that was, my mindset. Speaking with them, they agreed that, this should still be reiterated again. So I did meet up with Assistant Chief Henderson, who, man, was the most supportive ever. Like, super supportive, would not let us move until the premises was double, triple checked. Like, this guy made sure that we had the protection that we need. And really, when I went in, I scheduled a meeting with them. He immediately called me back and was like, hey, you can come in the office anytime tomorrow. So I go in the office, and, shout out to Mayor Atkins as well, because before I even had to meet with the chief of police at the police station, he done already issued the permits for us to be at the town hall.
Oh yeah.
So it's not only this, and Mayor Atkins is one person that he gonna walk that walk. You know what I mean? Like, he stood behind us the first time. He stood behind us this time as well. And he wants to see what he can do in his position to help better the community. Does everybody understand? That's what we're here to do, though, to help you understand. We're not really here to point out the fact that, oh, you just don't get it. I'm not like you. You want to work with me? Let me tell you exactly A, B, and C and how we're going to do this thing. And that's exactly, he just, hey, Ray, whatever else you need from me, just let me know. Met with the chief of police. I just need to know you guys are going to protect us the way you did last time, because I just watched a protest go down in Statesville that looked extremely peaceful, and it seemed like there were civilians able to walk the streets with AKs, and at that time I thought it was an SK and an AR. You couldn't tell me he had bombs on him. I don't know. Like, at this time he just marching, and from the video I seen, I'm like, dude, how are you free right now?
Taken down immediately, by the way.
And that's okay, because at the end of the day, where it was taken down don't mean that somebody else didn't download it to their phone.
Yeah.
So and that's the videos, the videos that people, that YouTube or Facebook, you can report it all you want to, but trust me, it's always one person that saved that video.
Yeah.
Whether they're gonna give it to me today or give it to me on Friday or 2 weeks from now, I'll get that video.
Or in court. That's right.
And even with situations like that, we gotta show up to the court case now.
Right.
Because now we got to make sure that this man don't get released.
Absolutely.
We have to make sure that the same rules and regulations y'all gave us to follow, and that was your protocol, I need that to be reiterated. I need that to be, implemented when it comes to everybody, and not just one specific group, one specific march, one specific protest or parade. Right. I need you to reiterate this right here, right now, because I'm letting you know, people coming Saturday, rain, sleet, snow, it don't matter. Yeah. People coming Saturday, And I just want to know that y'all gonna protect us, because at this point, I'm asking for snipers on the roof. I'm asking for, all area, cross all T's and dot all I's. And I'm won't do word for word of what they said, but we had you covered last time, and we'll cover you again. I just ask that you make sure that no one comes with any bad intentions, and I just ask that you make sure no one comes with hesitation.
Because we got us.
So we can develop this understanding. We can make this deal. Bro, this relationship is going to be beautiful.
Awesome.
This is going to be beautiful.
That's important between the people in the community, the streets, the neighborhood, whatever you call it, and
Yeah.
the police.
Yeah.
Because it's a fine line. We all know that. Being from regular communities and the police has always been like, tension? What do you call it? It's always been like, all right, and we don't want to deal with them for the most of the time. You know what I'm saying?
That intimidation, the intimidation
because
factor
we
is
hadn't
there.
necessarily gotten the proper respect.
Right. So it's like we rather handle it yourself than call the police. You know what I mean? Or ask them to, But in this particular case, we don't want this dude to ever be able to
Like you said,
have a gun legally. Even though he probably will. He probably will keep his guns or go around it, but we gonna make it difficult.
Let me say this while we're still on camera, because one of the things that I did hear is technically they can't charge him with showing up at a protest with the weapon because they didn't ask for a permit. That's a technicality. Hold that thought. Yes. But the inciting the riot and inciting the other things, guys, I'm telling you, if you don't stand up and make sure that stuff gets held up in court, it won't.
Right. Right.
We need your black chief of police. We need that black lawyer and paralegal. We need that black
whole
business
crew.
owner. We need those black people who are
Backing.
in charge, who know exactly the steps we're supposed to take, the actual protocol.
Backing.
We
Lead
need y'all to
us.
step
Lead
out,
us.
reach
Yes.
out, and
We
say,
got
And it's
We
several
got
black
them.
lawyers here, several
They're
black
ready.
everything here. We gotta talk. We gotta have.
We gotta talk.
We gotta talk. So when we talk to
gotta
them, they know how we can work together
then what we're
and build
trying
our
to do,
community.
because we're not trying to alienate ourselves. We're not trying to alienate the children. We're not trying to revolt. We're not trying to gather our people for anything. And that was some of the stuff that was kind of happening at the beginning of COVID. And, people think, oh, they're going to come break in my house. Well, who is they?
Yeah.
And so, just really trying to get some understanding about, guys, we love our children just like you love your children.
Right.
We love our jobs just like you love your job. We want to make money just like you want to make money. Just giving people that same due respect. Our kids want to learn just like you want to learn. But when I walk in the room and I talk different from you and I look different from you, you automatically start treating me a certain type of way. We got to stop doing that. We got to start looking at people's heart. You can no longer walk this earth and walk these streets knowing that this person beside you is a person that God put here just like he put you here.
Right.
He's putting it, and I feel this with all of my heart. He is testing us to the nth degree, and we are failing in a major way. I'm telling you, I'm so proud when I see people go out. I heard this girl, she posted on Facebook one day, she was like, why are we so forgiving? Me black people.
Why
are
true,
we
though.
so forgiving?
It is very true.
Because we've always had to pray. I don't know what they think, if they think we go to different kinds of churches or what we learn.
Different God.
I really don't.
Right.
And we're going to have to talk about some of that too, because I don't. Because I'm telling
Whole
you,
different God.
when we go to church, we've always had to
very
pray.
true, very
because
true.
We've always had a
Within the
different kind of
Christians,
adversity. From the time that we wake up in the morning, from the time that we got to this country, and probably prior to that, we know how to pray.
And I think that's a great point, because you got, now's the time for everybody to come together, all together as one, and that includes the churches, that includes the pastors, that includes, everybody just getting out in these streets. I mean, I think when you look at the situation that we're currently in, and you see how church is going on outside, that's really what church is.
And that's
that's really what church is, because
bringing the church outside of the church. People crying, the church closed. Oh my gosh.
But you know what? Really, the church is where we go and huddle.
The church is where
we go
your
and
heart is,
huddle
where
and
people
get all
go.
the information.
Yes.
Then you go back out.
Absolutely.
The real work is outside.
Absolutely.
Go get
You gotta be in a
Go
building
in
to
there
have
and get your
church.
mind right
Same
for the
thing.
week.
Check your heart.
And that's like, I
the next day.
definitely one person, Retha Stewart, my aunt. That's where I get my outreaching from. Because I grew up with her starting the youth explosion, with her walking door to door. She started Bible. I was spent my first 12 years of life in Kings Creek, so we definitely, my aunt, I watched her get all the kids from the neighborhood and, go buy a big thing of popsicles, fudge rounds, chips, and juices, and come get this good word. And you know what I mean? She did, and that was step one. And then it was, hey, let's take these kids on a vacation. That was step two. And then it's, let me go ahead and start volunteering to do youth explosion and do other youth events. And that was step three. And it was just like, yo, my aunt be trying to reach.
Oh yeah.
So it was just like, man, but it's nothing but respect for her because she would put herself, in her community. And that was one thing. And it was just like, she's going to do another march in a couple of months as well towards election time because that's when we need it. We need for everybody that walk that walk, talk that talk.
Right.
You got to get registered. You have got to register because at the end of the day, 4 years ago, a lot of people said they didn't vote, and they didn't, and now look at life today. Yeah. Ain't America great again? Isn't America great again? That's my question.
America on fire.
America, hey. So my biggest thing is if you are in your community, if you care about your community, be active within your community because I'm speaking on my Aunt Rita, but we've lost so many community leaders. You got Rakeem who's still here doing things. Antonio still helping the kids with the football leagues and the other type of athletic sports. You have Justin. Yeah. You have Quail Ellis who are also right now just trying to get little kids to work out for free. Like just
Marcus
putting them through.
Terrence.
We need our leaders. We need our leaders back. These kids, this next generation, need those guys to come back. We need it all to come back. And at this point, right now, if we all come together, we all continue to support one another to continue to give these kids an actual vision for the future that's not toxic. You know what I mean? That's not.
It's not confusing.
It's not confusing.
It's not frustrated.
That's gonna
no energy behind
talented places.
And it is. And it's just like with business owners. During this pandemic, we have seen so many of our black people come out and make so many creations: clothes, shoes, hoodies, paint. Decorations for your house. God is really opening up doors to show us. And I'm saying our black community because we need to know that we don't always have to go and shop in the store. We need to go ahead and shop with our neighbor. And at the end of the day, and even with white people, the people that care for and continue to support our community, our neighborhood, our culture.
Out, hey, I love you. We were somewhere and somebody was like, I just want to make a donation to the cause. And I'm
we've got so many.
I get back to work. I mean, it's so many donations. People have reached out and I'm like, they're like, what's your organization? I need to donate.
And then my thing is like, guys, these are not organizations. So people are like, oh, well, who are y'all and who it is?
What's your name? What you doing? I can't give you.
People, we live here,
right?
Yeah, passion.
Right.
We don't belong to necessarily anything. We're just people that care about the home that we live in and the home that we're going to raise our children in.
Yeah.
And to the point that people are confused because like, well, you want all of y'all together?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, not necessarily. No. But I mean,
that's how they do.
We're doing the same thing, but we're not all together. We're just all equally as stressed out, and we in one accord today.
Period.
And that's something that we've been fighting all our lives. I think when you think about it, I mean, you think about your ancestors before you, and you think about the people that like you say, your Aunt Rita that do outreach. I know Pastor Glenn Ushery, he was the guy that showed me outreach.
Definitely.
I mean, this guy,
this
guy here, I mean, like everywhere.
He had a part in all of it.
I can recall this guy getting like vans and just getting out in the community. And so, I mean, when you be a part of that, it brings out a passion about yourself, and I think that's the biggest thing. I think as people, we got to come together and we got to have purpose and we got to have passion. And the purpose and passion, regardless of what's happened before this, we got to really stand firm. Like we got to stand firm because we can be our worst enemy, but when we come together, powerful things can happen. Powerful things can happen. And just like I told President, his next event, we there because you gotta support your people. Yeah, you gotta support your people. Yeah.
And then further.
Yeah.
So let me say this: when you talk about Pastor Ursary,
He's having so we're having a community meeting on Saturday. There's a lot going on Saturday. Juneteenth is this week. Juneteenth is a celebration of when the slaves were set free. Well,
when they found out.
The slaves had been free, but
Right.
people decided not to tell them they was free because we didn't have telephones to call everybody.
Down in Texas, they didn't know
text
that.
messages and cell phones like we do today. So in an
I said,
effort to
what?
continue to keep people oppressed, they
I
were
heard
not
that.
made aware that they
When I
were
learned
free
that,
because they were in the
man.
deep south in Texas. So when they found out they were free, they were happy.
I was in my mid-20s when I found that out.
So
You know what I mean? That's embarrassing. And I bet a lot of people don't even know that.
we gonna
yes,
do better.
they ain't
So what
teach us
this has
that. Where I was
instilled
gonna
in
get it
us
from?
is that we gonna
They ain't tell me
share,
in
we gonna
church either.
celebrate, and we gonna teach, and we gonna preach, and we gonna talk, and we gonna explain.
And when my daughters come home,
Yes,
and
ma'am.
when they
The
were,
whole
like, going to
time. We
school
not
and
letting up no
everything
more.
like that,
Black
they
history
went
is
through a
extended.
time-
Excuse me.
No, yeah, you fine.
Black history is just every month now. We not
Yeah,
letting up.
yeah.
We done with that 1 month.
That said
It's
Juneteenth
over.
every day.
But here's
Right.
the biggest thing,
Every day.
though. We're no longer allowing anybody else to give us a calendar and tell
Right.
us when we can count
when's
our
the
days.
yeah, bro.
We're not doing
Oh.
it anymore.
Why?
And that's why I said Juneteenth.
But there's some
June
audacious
19th,
people, but
for
we
those who don't know, because
audacious.
Everybody, we need to be aware of this type of stuff. When my kids was coming home from school and they'll tell me, "Oh, I learned this today in social studies and here." Oh, okay. Did they also tell you? Well, Mama, what's that? Okay, sit down. Look at
Right,
grab my phone
right.
real
Some
quick.
real history that's not in them
And
school
then
books.
It's at this time like we got to start being more. We got to communicate more with our kids
Yes.
too. We have got to
And
communicate
we
more
got
with our
to
kids.
instill on the direction that they need to go.
I
Like,
get everybody. We young
kids
parents.
Let them
talk
see.
too much. My grandson talks too much.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So he talks too much. So I say, "Oh, you like to talk a lot. I need to take you somewhere and figure out what you. Okay, you need to be a lawyer." So what I did was,
Right.
because when he in school, he has a problem.
Yeah.
You tell him something, or he gonna do it. But you come back and want to change it. Danny, what you said? I said,
Right,
okay,
he can-
we're gonna give you a vision board. Put that vision board. We got some magazines out.
Yeah.
Put it on them. We got the pictures. He said, "Okay, Mama, I want to be a lawyer."
Let's talk.
He
about
ready.
it.
Let's
Now
talk
he
about
get
it.
it. You put it in.
Now the next
Now he
step
own
is
it.
we put the suit on him.
Yeah.
What?
Let's
Oh my
talk.
God.
He was
about it.
like
sure he
this.
feeling good. Make sure
What?
he feeling
That
good.
boy swole up. So I said, now he's 10. Now,
Yeah.
tomorrow, we'll be here to go see Mr. Oh, God, I forgot his name. He just was sworn in. The young black boy that just sworn in.
Darty.
Darty.
Yeah, Darty.
We're going to
Young
see him
boy,
in the
okay.
morning
Yeah, his daughter.
at 9:30 so he can ask questions.
So he can see a lawyer.
So he can see, so
Somebody
he can
that look
see
like him.
himself.
Right.
This is
That's
Just-
real.
personable. They just
So that's what we have to do
Amen.
with our
We have to
children.
bring these people to our
Let 'em
community
see
so they can put
themselves.
their hands on somebody.
Yes, tangible.
So they can have somebody.
So,
I need a lawyer.
he
You got
ready.
Somebody to call. I need a doctor.
That's
You
real.
got
You
We got him
Love.
set up. What?
Oh yeah.
Put in him. Then my granddaughter.
Role model.
She want to dance?
Role
Okay,
model.
sister, we going to let you dance everywhere we go. Pop the music. He's the DJ. She get the shaking and she models. I said, we're going to put you a vision board. You're going to be a dancer, okay, an actor,
choreographer, all
and
that.
a model.
Yeah.
So that's what I see. Like this all the time. It's already in her.
Yeah.
My next goal is anybody out there, because I can't get anybody that's doing it, got their own business, that they teach children. That's what I'm looking for her. So if you're out here, I need that. I need that.
So there's a page, guys, called Black Owned Iredale. Please join it.
Thank you.
You don't have to
Oh,
own
yes, ma'am. I love when
anything.
you talk
It's an
like
opportunity to meet, greet, network, and then we go out. We have already formed a chapter in Wake County.
Okay.
So it's just people are just kind of coming. So we have to learn how to work with each other.
Yes.
As far as getting businesses started.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things that people think, oh, you don't have it because you don't have the heart, you don't have the whatever. No, it's a little different.
Right. Involved a
Yeah,
little more than
the
that.
struggle is real.
So the adversity.
Yes,
it is.
A little more than
Inherit
that.
the $100,000.
We ain't got out what we was
Man,
promised.
I
When you
ain't.
give us what we promised,
Man,
what
when
you
I started
promised us,
learning life-
we be further than what we are
Ain't
right
got
now.
it.
Facts.
You got a head start, but it's a little different.
Can we
So
take that
saying
to
all
court?
that to
Bunch of
say-
head starts,
Talk to the
man.
lawyer. See if we
So
can
many
get
saying
head
all
that
that
done.
to say,
If you,
guys, we're gonna talk about a whole lot of stuff. We're gonna have to wrap this one up
Okay, I'm
today.
sorry.
We gotta get everything.
We
We coming for it all.
Hey,
We're gonna
keep
see
out.
you guys on
Oh,
Saturday. We got networks going. We've got a housing. We got a will workshop tomorrow here at Divas. We've got a house buying network coming. We've got some book clubs coming. We've got some community gardens and different people wanting to open up restaurants and stores and just researching and finding locations, bringing these businesses together, the graphic artists, bringing businesses together. So I know how to, I want this design work. Help me do this. You got your LLC. Help me do this. How did you do that? Who did you talk to? What lawyer did you use? Those kinds of communications. We don't know each other, but we're almost 2,000 strong in the week.
About the grant writing.
And the grant writing.
You need that.
So, guys, if you have an expertise, you have experience, just post it in there. If you have a heart to lead and share and guide, share it. And if you're out there and you're listening and you don't look like us, you may be black, brown, green, whatever color you are, if you want to help, send a message. Send it to me. Send it to my inbox. Send it to one of these guys. Tell your names again. I'm Kimberly Wasson.
Rakeem Brawley.
Rainisha Caldwell.
Preston Wasson.
Janie Jones.
We're all on social media. We're all on Facebook. Guys, if you don't know and you want to know, look us up and let's talk about it.